Shalom.
Get started tonight. Our priest Kish is out tonight, and we're going to get into a few questions that we have here. One of the things we have to deal with when we begin to walk in the Word is there are certain things that Yahweh has us that we're going to have to get rid of, but then there are a whole lot of things that we have to actually allow him to formulate so that they can be used for his purpose. And sometimes we are attempting to get rid of things that really just needs to be reformulated so that they could be used for his purpose. And that sometimes is difficult because it requires a retraining of our brain. This is why before we do our baptism, or in our baptism conference, before someone is getting baptized, we go through some of those things about being renewed in the spirit of your mind. And being renewed in the spirit of your mind allows you to be directed by the Spirit, because your own way is going to keep trying to push forward. You have a way that you have constantly done something. All right. Then the Spirit tries to direct you. You then try to override the Spirit by what you know and what you've gotten accustomed to. This is the fight of the Spirit versus the flesh. All right. And this is just one of those things that is going to be a continual battle as long as we live. But what should happen is, over time, we should start getting better at that fight. Over time, we should start to cut off the adversary before we end up, right back in the same situation with woe is me. And it's like, okay, you were in a fight and the person jabbed and then hit you with a right cross. How many times you got to keep getting hit with that to know, all right, when he jabbed me, that right cross is coming? How many times do you have to keep getting hit before you realize, go ahead and block? Once the jab comes, boom, the arm comes up for a block. How are you getting knocked down by the same punch? And here's the thing. If the adversary, the devil, has something that works, why change the strategy? Now, he has other strategies, but you so easy. Come on now. He don't really have to go into strategy. He got a bag of strategies right here, all right? Now, he don't have to go in the bag because it's like, you keep falling for 1, 2. He never went to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All he do is 1, 2, 1, 2. And you still, this is you. For the last 30 years, this is you. This is you. I mean, come on. At some point, either duck, run, do something. You cannot keep getting hit by the same punches. This means, see, as we grow, the adversary, the devil, will deal with us in our growth.
Absolutely.
But man, he has it should at least be a situation where the devil has to bring his high-level demons to deal with you. See, every now and then I run up on a low-level demon and they be like, uh-oh, I realize that I done bit off more than I can chew. Hey, go get your colonel. Go get your colonel, all right? Because ain't no private over here. Go get your colonel. You don't need your colonel for this one. So, but when the adversary, the devil, can send his trainees here, they ain't even full. They ain't even got their demon badge yet. They are introductory demons, and they making you scream, Uncle! Uncle! He don't even have his demon merit badge yet. How is he beating you?
That's a question.
How? He's like, if we did this like the Boy Scouts and they had on their little vest, your demon that's beating you up don't even have a badge. He just got a vest. He's got a vest. He ain't got no badge on it. He has no power. He should not be able to just be whooping up on you. So, these are things that we have to grow, and Yahweh gives us leniency. when we first get in the word, he understands, okay, all right, it's newborn baby. All right, newborn baby is swaddled. All right, but newborn baby can't move at all. It's swaddled. All right, when you get to growing and things like that, then you got to grow just to get the pamper on. People think, okay, I'm newborn, I got the pamper. Now you ain't got the pamper yet. You still swaddled. You being covered, because atmosphere doesn't need to get to the newborn baby. Its pores are open. The baby could catch cold and die. So Yahweh swaddles and protects that newborn baby. But after those pores close up, you start to unwrap that blanket. Now, you're starting to feel the freedom of movement. But you still got that. Now you're in the pamper stage. Then it comes to the growth of beginning to crawl. And all of this is about doing things in the spiritual sense. We already know how to do these things naturally. All right? But sometimes it is the natural thing that we already know how to do that is fighting us from having that kind of growth in the spirit. So we had a question which says, I wanted to share with others the changes Yah has made in my life, but the old picture has my head uncovered. Even if it's a painting I made, is it still wrong to do so, even if it's being done for a good reason? Now, I want to start in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and I have to say what my elder always said to me. Now, it sounds a tad bit morbid, okay? But he said, the road to the lake of fire is paved with good intentions. So those good reasons, a whole lot of people that had good reasons, good intention, yet their backside is smoldering. All right. So I just want you to to keep that in mind as we consider some things here. So let's start 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Verse 1. Be you followers of me, even as I also am of the Mashiach.
So then we have a situation where we're talking about order. And a lot of times we have this problem with following orders because we don't believe or we don't see the order of whomever we see in charge, because you don't see a person directly over them. And Yahweh is directing that individual, and it goes all the way. He says, be you followers of me, even as I also am of the Mashiach. So you have this order coming down. Mm-hmm. And when you get down to order, there's a situation of covering, and that covering showing that you are under the order of somebody. This is where things get interesting, because you have people will, of course, start reading in the New Testament, and the very first thing they see about head covering is you shouldn't do it. So without having any kind of foundation, they don't understand this whole thing of order. And the very first line talks about order. Now, you can skip past that and get right to something else, and missing that one line did you a serious injustice, because everything is set up by this first line. Be you followers of me, even as I also am of the Mashiach. Order. So before you get through anything else, you have to understand this entire situation now that you're about to read is about order. But if somebody just what we call cherry pick scriptures and writings, when they tell you, today's sermon is going to be on 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 5. So, question. So we're going to do 2 hours about verse 5? Now, here's how, even though it's 2 hours on one verse, you are still exceptionally stupid. because they didn't cover leading up to verse 5, and they didn't cover what happened after verse 5. So spending 2 hours on verse 5, they have done you a serious injustice, because, there's nothing to understand things in this book. You need to deal with the things leading up to it and the things after it. And if you don't do that, you can't get a full view of what's happening. And that doesn't always have to be a whole chapter. Sometimes it'll be the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. That will be the full thought. Mm-hmm. So going and reading this one verse at a time thing is how we have a whole other doctrines. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 2. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you.
So keep the ordinances as they have been delivered unto you. This is something that we have to consider here, that there were instructions given. Now, whenever we're dealing with the New Testament, we have things that says Corinth. We know Corinth is in Greece, all right? So we understand that there's a different set of instructions given to the children of Israel who are Yehudim, who are of those 12 tribes, who are taught out of the law. There's a difference between how the Gentiles are directed. And because we have not set a separation between those things, there is a great problem in the way salvation is being taught. Because this country, this generation, is not country, it's the whole world, because the Babylon is being, led by the same individuals. They are merging all things together. So they merge the good with the bad, so that nothing is really good, nothing is really bad. They merge the male with the female. There's no man, there's no woman. It's just whatever they want to be. The more you are able to merge those things, it becomes very difficult to figure out what part is good and what part is bad. And for a conquering nation, that's what they want, because it allows them to be able to merge all their present people with the people whom they will convert or conquer. Go ahead.
Verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is the Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of the Mashiach is Elohim.
Order. So a lot of times people get into this thing, and it becomes all about their feelings when they're talking about head covering. It's all feelings. It's all feelings. Nothing has come about feelings. All of this is about order. But order is even a situation of feelings. There used to be a thing in the marital vows, or say, do the woman obey, this man? And, sisters in here, oh no, we proclaim power. You know what I'm saying? I want that taken out of the vows. I will not obey nothing. I don't obey no man. I take that out. And then 5 years later, they divorce and they can't figure out why. Right. Go ahead.
But this is instructional, and it's good. As you mentioned, this is Corinth. So it's talking to the people of Greece. And,
who didn't even know how to cover their tail.
Exactly.
Much less their head.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Why focus on them? Put a head covering. No, wear a tail covering. You know what I'm saying? They had naked baths. They just sitting there.
They did.
Imagine, a person from Greece just straight bucket naked, and you up there talking about you should cover your head. Now, your head ain't what need to be covered right now.
Exactly.
Let's cover the basics. Let's cover, your genitalia. Let's cover your genitalia. All right? Because we don't need to worry about you got something up here. Every last one of their statues ain't somebody butt naked.
Exactly. And that's the point. We walked in culture. You wouldn't have had to say this to our women.
No.
So he's giving, and even though our people are merged among them, he's instructing these people because they've never had to cover anything.
Exactly. They even have their deep statues where somebody's thinking.
And he's
butt naked. He ain't butt naked. He's a butt naked thinker. He just. What is that? Why don't he have any clothes on? Why? You know, everything is always naked to them. So people like, well, you know, this head covering. They needed a lot of coverings.
Yes, they did.
You know, when they brought the gymnasium to Israel, people say, you know, why was that so foul? Because they played ball naked. You go in the gym today, and people will just come up to you. Man, that was a good workout. What? Hey, man, brother, you don't have no clothes on. This conversation is over. This conversation is going as far as this conversation is going to go. Where are your shorts? Where are your shorts? You had some when you was on the weight bench. I saw them. I saw them not too long ago. You had on shorts. Now your shorts are missing, and you want to have a conversation like everything is regular. That is the culture of the Gentiles.
It is.
Okay?
It is.
That is it. And then we hang around, and then we pick up the same culture. So now we start doing it. So then we're at the gym doing the same things. See, there's some people who at the gym working out. Other people at the gym just out working. They doing something totally different. Like, what, are you trying to get paid? Like, you selling yourself? What the hell are you doing? Why don't you have on any clothes?
You know, I remember there was a time in the day where, you know, my grandmother, if they saw any of our people walking around like that, they considered you a very loose woman or a very loose man. I remember that as a child coming up.
Yeah, they had terms like hussy.
Yes, they did. And they used it.
Woman about town.
Yes,
woman about town. That was a high class term.
Our people wondered we weren't
high
doing
class
that kind
woman
of
about. Low class hussy. You know what I'm saying?
Verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head.
Now, this is where, you know, we always run into a problem with the purple group on the corner who will aggressively come at you with a New Testament writing that's written to the people of Corinth, which are Greeks, but let them tell it, everybody is Israel except white people. It is the strangest doctrine you've ever heard in your life. These people have cat dog doctrine where the front end is a cat and the back end is a dog. You know what I'm saying? It is absolutely strange. So they have their whole outfit comes from the Old Testament because it is the dressing of a priest. But when you get in there, the underpriest had one head covering, authority. He's talking about this head covering. The whole part about it is authority. Yes. So then you have this situation where you have the underpriests have one head covering, the high priest have two head coverings. When you deal with these people who are under order and know that they are under, they wear their head covering. You have never seen a Catholic priest without a head covering. So they know what they're supposed to do. Exactly. You don't even see the Jewish who are supposedly walking in culture, they have a head covering. And then you got the regular people who you wouldn't know what they are until they told you. Now, it gets confusing with the Jewish women because they'll have a head covering, but it's a wig. And they tell you that the hair is covering their hair.
That is ridiculous.
It is the strangest doctrine I have ever heard. So you cover your hair with hair? How do you cover your hair with hair and say, my hair is covered? Yeah, but it's covered with other hair. So do I have to pull out the tracks to figure out? You know what I'm saying? What's happening here today? Is that not strange? What if I cover my butt with a butt? I mean, can I really say my butt is covered? Because some butt is out. I don't know whose butt it is, but it's a butt covering a butt. So is the butt really covered if there's a butt hanging out and it's on my person?
But see, that's the things that they do that you can tell that they're not the people of the book, because the scriptures tell you to stay away from even the appearance of evil.
Right.
So why would you do that?
Yeah. That is a $1 million question. And where do you stop? When you cover your hair with hair, what else can you cover with itself and claim that it's covered?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know people, you know, it's like, man, that was a crazy question. Can you cover your butt with a butt? What if you can cover your hair with hair? Where does this stop?
Where does it stop?
Where does it stop? If the thing is supposed to be covered, but you covered the thing with the thing. See, this is what happened when you get, you know, when you're reading books and they're about the opinions of other so-called sages. Mm-hmm. So instead of dealing with the law, you're dealing with somebody's interpretation of the law, which is what all of these external books, these extra books are all about. So instead of reading the commandments, we're going to read what somebody wrote about the commandments. So now their thought process about the commandments have now overshadowed the commandment. If that's not adding to the word, I don't know what is.
Right. In addition to the fact that, you know, if you're covering your hair with hair, you know, what's the intent of that? The intent of that is to deceive somebody.
It is utter deception.
It's to deceive them.
How I'm supposed to know that your hair is covered with hair? Unless I go pull on it. So you went about to deceive me to make believe that your hair was hair, but while you are walking in the law, so say, because you have a covering. But at what point does that even appear righteous? You know, if I wear a shirt and it's got pecs and muscles drawn on the shirt.
Now you say, you know, they do that in New Orleans. Now you, you know, they do that kind of thing down there.
Real question. You know, can I say that I'm covered while the shirt itself depicts everything that's under the shirt? Go ahead.
Verse 5. But every woman that prays or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head, for that is even all one as if she were shaven.
You know, and it's interesting that people would get into these things. Now, our question was about, you know, showing the growth of something, but it is also going to deal with whether or not, you know, the head is covered. We all have past pictures. We all have past things that are out there. But at some point, you have to ask yourself, at what point am I going to promote these things? I have some past pictures with my head uncovered. I'm willing to pay anybody who can find some of those pictures. I'm paying top dollar for those. You know, I'm paying a ransom. You know what I'm saying? So, but that, it was a different mindset then. I was okay with going to the hairdresser and getting, you know what I'm saying? I refuse to go on. I want to exit this conversation. Go ahead and read. I refuse.
Verse 6. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn.
All right. So, you know, when people say, okay, well, I don't have to be covered, he said, let her be shorn. Shorn is shaven.
That's a disgrace to you, though.
Shave the hair off. But see, here's that thing where in this society, the man and the woman have become interchangeable. So now you got to use the right pronoun. Now they're trying to figure out, you know, whether a one who's born a man, or, you know, whether they should go to man jail or woman jail because they was born with certain kind of equipment. And you should probably think about all of those things when you get your transmission changed. You should always think about what race you're gonna be in. Because if you got to shift gears and now you done changed your transmission, you done got yourself into something. So if you gonna change yourself and then do crime, now you're trying to figure out what race should you be? Because, they got all kind of cars, you know what I'm saying? They got the funny cars. And I'll just leave that right there. So they got all kind of cars. But when you change yourself and then you decide to do crime, how is it that other people, and they've had major problems with this situation, where they've put these so-called people in the jail of the place where they chose their identity. So these were men who ended up going to a woman's prison and getting women pregnant. Now, hold on. Now the state got to pay. The state paying for this baby. Now I read one story where the one woman that did that fathered 2 children in the woman's jail, and now it's being sent to the male jail. It's gonna have a hard time. I hope they enjoyed themselves in the woman prison, because the situation that they was in, they about to be under that situation now. It's about to be, because, trying to explain to a dude who been in prison for 30 years, that's really not a woman. It looked like a woman to me. It looked like a woman to me. No, well, they had original equipment, but they got a transmission change. You know what I'm saying? It used to be a stick, now it's automatic. And they say, well, it's automatic. I'm gonna change for it. I don't know what. It's not gonna be pretty. You can tell it wasn't gonna be a good situation either way. But this whole merging, even in the New Testament, there's a separation as to what happens with the man versus what happens with the woman.
Exactly.
And just so we understand how wicked this society is, there's no separation anymore. You're trying to merge all of these things in together and make them the same. They were never designed to be the same. They were designed to be different. Go ahead.
The end of verse 6. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of Elohim, but the woman is the glory of the man.
Now, wait a minute. So a lot of times we get stuck at verse 7, for the man indeed ought not to cover his head. This is the point why I ask people, understanding who the children of Israel, we know that there is a Levitical priesthood. But even while Israel was giving that law, you know what Yahweh said? He said, you will be a nation and kingdom of priests. Wait a minute. We already had a tribe of priests. So this wasn't then just about Levi.
Exactly.
He said, you're going to be a kingdom of priests. If you're going to be a kingdom of priests, then the priests have head coverings. Why would Israel end up being kingdom of priests? Because Israel is going to have to teach the rest of the nations. So it's not just going to be Levi are the priests to Israel. The rest of the 11 tribes are the priests to the rest of the world. Order. The very thing that this whole writing is talking about. But if you're in your feelings, then you can't be in order, because the two of those are going to fight one another. Mm-hmm. I want to be in order, but I also am in my feelings. I'm so deep with feelings right now. I don't know what to do. I feel inside and out. And feelings are always going to push you out of order.
Exactly.
You have to put feelings in check or you're going to be out of order. Simple as that.
That's right.
It doesn't matter what the situation is. It doesn't matter what the arena is. If you're dealing with the feelings, you're going to have a problem with order. And this is where we keep stumbling. A woman ought to be able to do all the things that a man can do. Until a man end up hitting them, and then they say, oh my God, a man should not hit a woman. Wait a minute now, if she has all the rights that he has, then she has the right to get knocked the hell out. If she has all the rights, then that means she's got the good rights and the bad rights too. She has the right to go to work all day. She has the right to do all this labor. How far are you going to go with this? Yahweh put a separation. It is the evil powers that be that are attempting to erase the separation that Yahweh has put between light and darkness, good and evil, man and woman. See, we don't want to connect all of those, all right? When you erase the definition or the separation between man and woman, you're doing the entire thing. Take away the separation between light and darkness, good and evil. You're creating a whole nother kingdom.
You are, and it's so obvious because in the garden, the very thing that he attempted to do was to destroy the holy seed and what Yahweh had set apart and set in motion. And to blur the lines and just blend everything together, he is effectively doing exactly that.
Well, then, but that whole thing was about order. Mm-hmm. The instruction was given to the man.
Exactly.
Who did the adversary, the devil, go talk to?
The woman.
Mm-hmm. He wanted her to think about herself. So if it says pride goes before a fall. All right. So the first thing he does is to get you to think about you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? I do deserve this. Yeah. Then you start getting that pigeon walk. Yeah. I do, don't I? You know, I am all that. Yeah. Yeah. Once he gets you there, oh, he got you. It ain't that. You don't got the hook. Now all he got to do is let's just go ahead. Oh, let's go ahead and reel him in. We got him now. We got him now. So once he got her to think about her, it's no more thinking about the family unit.
Exactly.
This is something to make you wise. This is good for food. This stuff ain't poison. This is this fruit right here. This stuff's got nourishment. You're going to be good at it. It says, and she partook and did give to her husband. Mm-hmm. People say, oh, he was there. If he was there, then he would have heard the conversation. He would have heard the whole conversation. He didn't hear the whole conversation. So you now have this situation where he was disrupting order. And he used her feelings to do it. If the same trick working, why you need to change it?
It's working very well, actually.
Thousands of years later, he still used our feelings, and now we run out of order. I don't want to do this. When? Got him. Got another one. It's like that little counter that they used to have on McDonald's, 1 billion served next. And the counter just keep going. See, we done forgot that counter. See, that counter used to be right there at McDonald's, 1 billion served. And the number would be moving. You know what I'm saying? As people coming out the restaurant, the number turning. It was like a gas counter. See, they don't show you that stuff no more. Right. That used to always be there. Right. Lucifer got a feelings counter. Got another one. Got another one. He has not had to change his tactics at all. Go ahead.
Verse 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Now, we have some serious problems here in this generation. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Now you have women who want to lead a man. Women who want to lead their man, then still call him a man. If he is being led by you, he ain't no man.
Mm-hmm. Then you have men trying to have babies.
Yeah, that's a strange sight. Mm-hmm. It's a strange thought. It ain't even, it's something seriously wrong with that. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Neither was the man created for the woman.
The man was not created for the woman. Go ahead.
But the woman for the man.
The woman was created for the man. And if a man does not, even when a woman says she won't, I want a man. One of my good songs, I like it. It's Ralph Tresvant. And he says, you need a man with sensitivity. Oh, man, I like that song. Ralph is probably single right now. Because after a woman get that sensitive man, she treats him like absolute dirt. Why? Because he not no man. And sooner or later, the relationship ends. Why? Because she got with Mr. Sensitive. And this man with sensitivity, you got to know how far to go with that sensitivity. All right? You got to have a level on your sensitive meter, because once she is able, even though, they'll say, I want this type of man, I want such and such. After they realize that they can handle that man any old kind of way, he ceases to be a man. Now, the relationship is dead, because the relationship is supposed to be with a man and a woman. And she looks up one day and realizes, there's two men in here. Or two women. Because he definitely ain't no man. Now you've done all of this to hold this woman. And one day she realized, you're a woman. Boom. Now you done put all these years in the relationship. Now you back in your feelings again. Wah. My feelings hurt. I'm so hurt, I don't know what to do. So you can think that becoming more of a woman is going to help you keep a woman. It's only temporary. Sooner or later, she going to walk in, catch you in her girdle, and you out of there. You out of here. You out of here. You are fired. Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 10. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angel.
Now, if we have a problem between figuring out which one is the woman, we have a serious issue right here. There is a separation. There's a difference. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither is the woman without the man in the Adonai. For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman, but all things of Elohim. Judge in yourselves, is it comely that a woman pray unto Elohim uncovered? Does not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him?
It was a certain length that they began to cut their hair. We have all of these things about fashion, and we take those things too far.
We do.
When people have that long hair, those brothers were under vows. See, we ain't under nothing. We just want to look nice. Brother, what vow are you under? The vow to look smashing. I vow that I will be a dashing individual. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 15. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering.
Uh-huh.
But if any man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom, neither the churches of Elohim.
So then we didn't have to deal with this thing here. So when we talk about this covering, I want to just to understand how powerful it is. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 21. Now, it's interesting that one of the things within this New Testament letter, epistle, it talked about if a woman be not covered, let her be shorn or shaven. So then we have to examine that. Let's read. Let's see. Is that? Yeah, I want to go down to 12. So start that at verse 10. Deuteronomy chapter 21, and let's start this at verse 10.
Verse 10. When you go forth to war against your enemies, and Yahweh thy Elohim has delivered them into your hands, and you have taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman.
Stop. You see a beautiful woman among the captives. Now, where, if this is even happening, where must this even take place, where you've seen this beautiful woman among the captives? according to the instruction that was given unto Israel coming out of Egypt. Where must this be? Man, you talk all class when you ain't talking now. Why you so quiet? Now, remember now. Go ahead. Far away. Very good. Because the ones who was in close, he said, kill all them. So this can't even be taking place right near you. See, Yahweh has an order. Okay, so you see among the captives a beautiful woman, and have desire unto her, and would have her to your wife. Go ahead, now keep reading.
Verse 12. Then you shall bring her home to your house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails.
Stop. She had to shave her head. So then, wait a minute. So this hair carries some kind of spiritual connection. Now, this is the law. We read 1 Corinthians, and it's talking about if she don't want to be covered, then let her shave her head. Wait a minute. This saying before you can marry the captive woman, and understand now, if it's a captive woman, that means Israel went on a war campaign. It says when you go forth to war. So understand. Now we'll have this thing now. People can't figure out whether or not they're gonna go by the letter of the law or the spirit of the law. Understand something. I need for you to focus on something. If they went to war, her husband already dead. So what the hell getting cut off? Husband dead. See, that's all people want to do. Your woman is bound to her husband as long as he lives. But if he dead, she's free to marry whomever. Well, that hair was his glory. That hair was other dude's glory. I don't see no sisters lining up. You know what? I want to be yours and just yours. Give me those clippers. I ain't seen a sister lining up for that yet. I ain't seen, not now time have I been in the barber shop and the sister like, I'm after Buddy in the blue. Yeah, I'm about to be dedicated to my man. It's my man. Cut it all off. I'll grow all new with him. I ain't seen that, not a now time. Not a now. I said not a now. Right. But we have all these questions. We should be able to tell if you so-called walking in the law and you come up and we see not a stitch of hair on your head, we're like, okay, well, she in a new relationship then. Something done happened. A vow just ended or something. Something just happened. You know, what happened to your hair? Go ahead. Verse 12.
Verse 12. Then you shall bring her home to your house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails.
First thing we want to do when sisters want to get, attractive, they want to go get their nails did. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity off her, and shall remain in your house.
Remain in your house.
And bewail her father and her mother a full month.
Because they dead too.
And after you shall go in unto her and be her husband, and she shall be your wife.
Now, she shall remain in your house. Bewail her father and her mother a full month. All right. Why does it need to be a full month? You know the answer to that one. He know that one. I got that one, Coach. Coach, put me in. Coach, put me in.
To make sure she ain't pregnant.
There you go. Oh, he got that one. Oh, let's give that man a hand. No. Y'all gave him 2 hands. I said 1. Give him a hand. Don't give him 2. Don't give him 2. Just give him 1. Give him 1. Some smell about it. That smells. Just give him 1. All right. So, you then have, after a month, then if she becomes pregnant, then he knows that because here's the thing. You could be raising the very generation that Yahweh was killing off by sending the war. Mm-hmm. So there then has to be this discipline that you not touch this woman in those 30 days. So, that there's something, but you see that there's a connection with the covering. So there, I want to go to Acts 21. And started at verse 17.
Verse 17.
Because we have this thing about being shaven and the head covering, because you have all of these things, and you still find that these things are happening after the birth, death, and resurrection of the Mashiach. So then we understand that these are things that fit in the spirit of the law. Mm-hmm. Even after the letter of the law has been set aside, in the spirit of the law, we still find these same concepts. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And when we were come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly. And the day following, Paul went in with us unto James, and all the elders were present. And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things Elohim had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry. And when they heard it, they glorified the Adonai and said unto him, You seest, brother, how many thousands of Yehudim there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law.
They are zealous of the law, even though they believe in this so-called New Testament way of doing things. They are still zealous of the law because that's how Israel is instructed. Go ahead.
And they are informed of you that you teachers all the Yehudim that are among the Gentiles to forsake Moshe.
You see what the statement was? That you are teaching the Yehudim which are among the Gentiles. Now, you see, we read the things in Corinthians. It was talking about one set of things for the Gentiles. Mm-hmm. This statement lets you know that there are different paths to salvation. Mm-hmm. And it was being said, look, you're teaching those who are among the Gentiles the same as the Gentiles. But isn't that what's happening today? Mm-hmm. When you turn on the TV and listen to a televangelist, which one did you hear say, no, not black people, this is not for you. This is for the Gentiles. But I mean, most of the black people think they're Gentiles too, so there's no reason to separate it when they all think that they are the same. Go ahead.
Saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs.
Neither to walk after the customs. So this was the question. So even in this New Testament way of living, in the spirit of the law, Israel was to still walk in certain parts of the law, definitely circumcision, and to walk after the custom, but not do animal sacrifice. Go ahead.
What is it, therefore? The multitude must needs come together, for they will hear that you are come. Do therefore this that we say to you. We have 4 men which have a vow on them. Take them and purify thyself with them, and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads.
Stop. We have 4 men which have a vow on them. They are about to accomplish their vow, and they are going to shave their heads. So when he saw this beautiful woman, when she shaved her head, there are certain situations you might not even know, and posters, they don't be knowing. They might go through something. And they lost all their hair. And they didn't understand why they lost their hair. Yahweh was getting that zombie off your scorecard. and you done took all kind of treatment, and you done did everything I can't want. I done lost so much hair. I don't know, ain't no hair nowhere. I done lost hair everywhere. I can't grab. Right. Yahweh was getting rid of that leech you had. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 22. Verse 22.
Now
Verse
go
23.
to start back at 24.
Take them and purify thyself with them and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads and may know that those things whereof they were informed concerning you are nothing, but that you yourself also walkest orderly and keep the law.
They will know that you walk orderly and keep the law by you shaving yourself, and they see you with the other people who have accomplished a vow. Okay? So let's go to Numbers chapter 6. And we're going to start that at verse 1.
Verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either a man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite, to separate themselves unto Yahweh, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dry.
Right. This is the vow of a Nazarite. What did Yahshua say? He says, I won't drink any more wine until I drink it new with you in the kingdom. So Yahshua took a Nazarite vow. So then, you know, when we say things like, okay, when they see that brother on that white charger, when he on that white horse with them long locks, people gonna be confused. Who is that? Because, you know, we've been showing the pictures of, you know, Jesus looked like Joel Osteen.
Yeah, with some curls.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
With some cyborg curls.
Yeah, you know, Jesus Joel. It's out here, Jules. Yeah. So, you know, there's some method to what's happening here. He's taking a Nazarite vow. Go ahead.
All the days of his separation he shall eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk.
Now, see, when we had it was funny. Rebecca was walking in and she had her whole little head covering, it was done up, and people were asking, "Do you have locks on up under there?" You know, because we went out of town and they had never seen them. Like walking in culture. And it was interesting that they would automatically just figure because of the head covering that she must have locks up under there. But it also makes a statement about how we do things. I remember being when I had hair, I used to want locks just as a fashion statement. This is what we do. The locks had a meaning. Now we just, I just want to look dashing. I just think this is debonair. You know what I'm saying? I'm just call me debonair. That's what I want to be. We don't even deal with what these things is, and the longer that person's vow, the longer those locks were.
Can't cut them.
And see, we don't consider that. See, so we got long locks dragging the floor, but we ain't separated from nothing. I mean, we ain't separated. Locks is 10 years long. Let them out, they drag the ground. What have you separated from? Razors. That's it. That's it. So, it's one of those things. And this is also, definitely one of those things where a man with long hair want to definitely have that covered. But here they had reasons for those things. So when we then get back to the beginning part of the question, can I show myself, even though it's a picture that shows uncovered? We can't go, we live in the land of internet. Once it's out there, it's out there. But we can't keep putting new stuff out there. We recently had a situation where, a brother had put out a whole lot of pictures. This was things that he had always done. You know how we do. We work out. We put on an extra medium shirt. If we got on the shirt at all. You know what I'm saying? Grease up a lot. And we take pictures. You know what I'm saying? Then getting in the word, realize, okay, I got, I'm gonna have to reevaluate, what I had been doing. And that's just one of those things. That's part of being renewed in the spirit of your mind. Mm-hmm. Realizing, okay, I've been doing this so long. Imagine a brother being a bodybuilder. His whole thing is, his life is going to the gym, and when he get ready to show off the muscles, he got to put on some drawers and baby oil. Them the only two things he got on, drawers and baby oil. And he got on more baby oil than drawers. All right, let's just go ahead. Come on, let's keep it 1,000. Come on now. Come on, let's keep it 1,000. The biggest thing he got on is baby oil. That is the biggest garment that he have at that point. Now imagine, you understand why certain people don't want to come into the word. Because it means that they're going to have to completely reevaluate some things that they do. Mm-hmm. And they're like, wait a minute, I make my living being greasy in my drawers. This is what I do. I'm out and bought this house. Underwear and grease. That's all I do. So now you gonna tell me I gotta be in the word, I gotta put clothes on? I don't even have clothes. I had to walk outside in underwear and grease. They're like, what you putting on? Grease. I don't think that's a clothing, brother. I don't think that's not something that you go find in a clothing department. They don't have a grease section. But you can see why certain things will completely fight against that. Now, what really keeps us out of the head covering? The whole display of hair. Now, I remember saying, this is how you notice the wisdom of Yahweh. There was a point of a woman that I used to date in high school. You couldn't tell me it wasn't just forever love. You couldn't tell me. My nose was wide enough to drive a truck through it and still have room to turn around. All right? I just believe. You couldn't tell me jack. All right. Later on, as we would communicate back and forth, and I got into this word. I remember this is the wisdom that you see of Yahweh. Sometimes you look at something and you can't figure out why it didn't work out. You cared for this person, blah, blah, blah. It was one statement that drove that home. When I got into the word, this woman was a hairdresser. She said, oh no, God didn't give me this gift of hair for me to cover it up. It was at that moment that went, bing! Yes, I'm so glad he got rid of you. You definitely needed to be out of my life. She's out of my life. I can sing the song. Sing it, little Michael. Little Michael. Come in, little Michael. I need you right now, little Michael. She's out of my life. Whoa! Thank you, little Michael. This was the time I could hear little Michael. It made perfect sense. It didn't make no sense before. Oh my God, it made perfect sense. Now, what's keeping us into that? Now, we got all these sisters having fibroids, having uterine cancer. Where is it coming from? Them perms that our sisters are putting in their hair. It's those perms that's causing us, I don't want to wear no hair covering. I want to show this beautiful hair. That we done got fried, dyed, and it really is fried and it's dyed. All right? get all of those things done, and then 10, 15 years later, having all of these, understand, your brain is your central computer. It operates everything. So when you put the chemicals in your brain and it goes through your scalp into your brain, you may have a problem with your toe and not connect it to your brain. You have ailments that you don't think are connected to that perm that you put in your head. You know, it's difficult to draw that connection. You know how many times you're going to have to go to the doctor for them to go here, to here, to here, and they may never find it. But because the brain controls everything, it's the brain that told the big toe, all right, post up. She walking. You don't even know. Get barefooted and walk and watch how your big toe just posts up on its own. And you're like, look at that. That toe actually does move. It's bracing you. And you didn't have to think, you know, they always, you know, you remember the song, the hip bone connected to the thigh bone. You don't remember that. You didn't have to tell, all right, brain, tell the neck, to tell the shoulder, to tell the pec, to tell the stomach, to tell the thigh, to tell the knee, to tell the calf, to tell the foot, to tell the big toe. You know? Whatever it is, it'll be gone by the time you do all that. So then all of that is coming from the brain. So then modern technology is keeping us away from Yahweh, our Elohim. The reason why we're so proud of some of those pictures, because we be like, oh, I look so good, and I got me a glamour shot, girl. I done got my makeup did, okay? I got my hair did. We don't never get it done. It always get did. I don't know why it get did and never done, but it get did. So we done got all this did, and we want to take a picture. Not knowing that you probably got cancer that day. But this is also our drive to be like those whom oppressed us. So now, because we have accepted their standards of beauty, we then are killing ourselves when the standard of beauty has been switched around. The very things that other people couldn't have, they made you think that yours were not desirable. And yours was always more desirable even to them. But we have fallen for the okie doke. So when you go through that, you have to go through this whole process and understand, not just, you know, yeah, we can clearly just say, okay, yeah, make sure that you stay covered no matter what. Or we can go through all of these things so that you have understanding as to why we are saying this, you know, that the perms are killing us, you know, and to even go back and remember the statement that this woman told me, God didn't give me this gift of hair. Now we have to pause. Did God give her something that was killing all her people? Your people are dying from that stuff that you put in their head. And if you ain't never had a perm before, you can't even leave the perm in long. It will burn the outer part of your scalp. Then you have to ask yourself, what did it do on the inside?
Exactly.
And they say, you know, some of those people, their whole scalp the brain is a different color than what it's supposed to be. You know, but of course they have to do that at an autopsy. It's like, you know, some of the boxers, and they turn like really, really violent. Same thing that happened to the football players. They get that CTE. Their brain gets affected by so many of them punches and knocks up against the head that they turn completely violent. So this is not just a situation for, see, the women had a problem with the perms that's causing them all the cancers, and it goes into their reproductive system most of the times and causes cancers in there. All right? Brothers, we have this thing of this love for football. And I'm telling you, I'm guilty as charged. I love to watch me some foosball. There's nothing like watching a grown man hit another grown man and watch him damn near pass out. It is absolutely morbid and sadistic, but we can't stop watching it. I used to coach this sadistic thing and put my children in it. then you get to the point where you get to a better understanding, and you like, man, I can't put your brain on the line like that. I didn't know no better before. You can't know better and still do the same things that you did when you were stupid. You cannot do that. So you have to look at how that might look to, my younger children. Man, this is unfair. Daddy, you let such and such go out there and they just threw their brain up against the wall and you didn't say nothing. Here it is, I'm trying to throw my brain up against the wall and you keep fighting me. But you see, if we are constantly trying to be comfortable, then you can't move forward. So to move forward, I got to acknowledge, hey, I didn't know no better then. I made some bad decisions. I will not continue to make those bad decisions to make other people feel comfortable or to make them feel like I made an equal decision. All right, since I let your brother be stupid, all right, here goes a special made stupid helmet. I made it just for you. No, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. When you know better, you do better. And bottom line, you cannot claim to know better. We cannot claim intelligence while walking in ignorance. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. It will not work. So you have to make that uncomfortable stance to continue to move forward. And that's just something that we have to deal with right there. I got another question, and I kind of dealt with some of it earlier. And it says, I've been wrestling. I have a question I've been wrestling with for some time. I met a woman that's every book and movie starts off just like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like the credits, there's a song coming on, and then there's the opening line, I met a woman. So I don't know if you're into screenwriting, but I'm just trying to tell you're on the right path if you want to make this a movie. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And then it says, I met a lovely woman. You on your way. I sense Academy Award in there somewhere. We have been together ever since. And I like that too, you know what I'm saying? Ever since. It's ever since. And have grown together as a couple emotionally and spiritually. Best way to grow. She's been on a spiritual journey since her teenage years. However, since hearing the word through your teachings, has had a new understanding of previously taught doctrine. She now religiously watches Bible study and Sabbath class on her own accord, regardless if we have the opportunity to fellowship together or not. She has expressed her desire to be baptized by you in the name of Yeshua, the Mashiach. I love her and want to marry her. However, I do have some concerns of us becoming yoked. Although I have completely stepped away from celebrating holidays and other birthdays, she still continues to partake in these due to her kids, siblings, nieces, nephews, and mother being accustomed to family gatherings around these heathenistic, set-apart times. She knows that these are not Yahweh's feast days, but her children and mother live with her, and holidays have a strong hold on them. Extracting herself from these situations is her intent. However, it will take some time to do that completely. All things take time. And we have to understand that being yoked does mean that, all of that is connected. It's something that, I've had to tell brothers many times, the woman and the kids go together. You know what I'm saying? Those are a package deal, I once knew a guy that was like, yeah, man, I'm talking to this woman. She asked me about her kids. I said, well, the sister ain't got nothing to do with me. Them ain't my kids. I told her, I said, I hope you say it bye. Cause I hope you told her bye. I hope you said your last words, because I'm sure she is burying all your belongings right now. It took him about a month to realize. He called me back. Yeah, you know what you had said. I said, yeah. She just buried you slow, one arm at a time. But she was getting rid of you, because, that's directly connected to her. All right, so we have to understand that. So I want to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6. Because there's certain things that we have to deal with. Now, the beautiful thing is that there is some growth and desire for growth already there. What we like to do, and I see people do this a lot of times in the Word. We're going to get in the Word, but then we try to go get some street trash, drag the street trash in the church.
Amazing.
And try to clean the street trash in the middle of sanctuary.
Amazing.
Shabbat shalom. Hold on, I'm trying to clean this trash.
Pick up.
For the life of me, I don't. You spend all this time in the Word. The trash can slowed down. Something fell out, and you ran and grabbed it. It just smell a little funny. It's still good. That ain't nothing but trash juice. The trash juice, it smells funny. And then worse than get that trash juice on you, oh man, I got that trash juice on me. You done ran behind the trash truck, you done got you some trash juice, and now you want to come in here and see if you done saying we can't douse the trash juice with a little holy water and see if we can't clean up the trash juice. It's still trash juice, all right? So, let's deal with this. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, and let's start at verse 14.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Okay, the most beautiful thing is there is some belief. Now, what helps this is there is growth already. Like I said, what most people do, they get in a relationship first.
Yep.
Get the person accustomed to them. You know what, by the way, I don't know if I told you or not. Did I tell you that I keep the Sabbath? Mm-hmm. How long y'all been together? Been together 2 years now. So did they think you just disappeared every Saturday? Well, what the hell been going on up until now? Now the person feel like, oh no, now you just done came out all out of a bag on me. I don't know nothing about this Sabbath stuff. What's that? What you mean? You know what I'm saying? You wear a head covering. I thought your head was just cold. I didn't know that had something to do with it. I thought you had cold head. I didn't know. So I just thought you needed to be warm. So in all this time, you ain't explained nothing. Mm-hmm. That, if we go back to something that we read earlier and something that you stated, we must stay away from the appearance of evil.
Yes.
Is that not deception?
It is deception.
Did you not give that person a false vision of what you were actually selling? Did you not present to them a worldly figure? Mm-hmm. And then they went back and opened the closet and Superman got on his full outfit. What the hell is this? Well, I didn't tell you. I'm only Clark Kent by day. What? Now he or she is supposed to completely change their life based on what you just told them on 2 o'clock on Tuesday? You gave no lead-up action to, I'm different, I have a different culture. That we think if we hide the culture, right, we bring them in, right, they will get comfortable with us. And then we spring on them. By the way, bam, here go my Sabbath card. Then they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I got to keep Sabbath if I want to keep you. No, you might end up in the worst situation ever because now that person feels totally deceived. We knew a woman who had met a guy. She didn't just meet a guy. She married a guy. That's why I told you, this started off. I met a woman, a lovely woman. All right? So I got another story. Knew a guy, met a woman, married the woman. The woman said she had, was it 2 kids to start off with? Couple of years, boom. Found out she had another one.
She said
Yeah, she said 2 kids.
Then
Boom,
there was
found out there was 3. What the hell you
Then there
mean?
was 4.
Who's that kid? All right, a little bit later, he found out there was another kid. So he thought he married a woman with 2 kids. Then he looked up, and then there was one kid. Then another year, there was another kid.
3.
And then you like, this is like.
Then the next year, it was
like
4.
It was like the Brady Bunch, and then there were more.
And then the next year, it was 5.
At the end of this whole thing,
It was 5.
it was 5 kids. He thought he married a woman with 2. Apparently, she would hatch the eggs and drop them off at whatever, she made a nest, in different places around town. And she would lay the egg in that nest and then run out of the nest really, really fast. And then whoever, got the nest, who laid this egg here? And then they, what? I'm paraphrasing. Okay, so what? I'm just trying to get you to, look, we ain't got all night, all right? So I got to go into this quick. Okay, but imagine the surprise of this individual who has married a woman who he thinks has 2 kids, and she actually has 5. He was distraught.
He was.
He was distraught. Like, this is the strangest thing ever. How are you going to tell, and you know how many lies had to be told? Like, imagine when Kid 3 came out. Like, I don't know their names, so I got to do them by number. Imagine when Kid 3 came out. Okay, yeah, I should not have hid that from you. This was the perfect time to introduce 4 and 5. When 3 fell out, because 3 rolled out the nest. All right, so when 3 rolled out, apparently it was a rocky something, and the 3 rolled out the nest. When 3 rolled out the nest, this is a time to go ahead and woman up on egg 4 and 5. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and let's get all this hurt out the way, so we can get the hurt. We can go ahead and we can cry, we can move toward, building. Mm-hmm. But when we stagger out the lies, as the individual gets over egg 3, then egg 4 pops out. Guess what happened? He now slides all the way back down. Then as he builds himself up from 4, then 5 comes out. He slides further down than he was at egg 2.
Yeah. Then it was even worse because she wanted immediate forgiveness for lying 3 years in a row.
And that's something. But see, that's how we do it. This is how we do it. No, the word says. This is what we want to find out. We done had miscellaneous eggs all over the place. I mean, we got different roosters. We got there's hens that we ain't mentioned. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole hen house over here that ain't been talked about. Where all these eggs come from? We ain't gonna talk about those eggs. But we want immediate forget. Now we want to find the word and then use the word to base how people ought to deal when we didn't deal in any word when we was laying those eggs. It is just utterly amazing how we think that's okay to jump in and out of that. Go ahead, brother. You look like you wanted to confess that you had some eggs. You had some eggs. Where might be those eggs hatched? Right, let's go ahead. If you just now tuning in, welcome to Egg Hatching. We're going to go ahead and get to the bottom on today's program. We're going to find out where are those eggs and who laid them. Go ahead, brother.
I once met a woman.
Oh, there it is.
She was a lovely woman.
she was absolutely amazing. But it's not the woman who y'all thinking about. It's another woman. I know her for about 7 years.
That's probably the sad situation that you have said right there.
Yeah.
Not that you met a woman, not the woman y'all thinking about. That sometimes folk don't know. There's this thing where it says, take foot insert foot directly into mouth. You, my friend, should be tasting your own toe jam at this very moment. But go ahead, because I know you like the taste of it. Keep sticking it in there. Go ahead.
No, because this one, she's the one who originally introduced this whole walk to me, and we were gonna get married back in May, but
Y'all gonna get married?
we was gonna get married.
Yeah. Where you from? Married. Where you from?
I just.
Okay, go ahead, bro.
But she called me crying one day and said, Yona, can we just please fly back to my parents' house every Thanksgiving and Christmas? Or we could swap it out. Thanksgiving we go one year, the next year we go Christmas, and then the next year we go Thanksgiving. And I had to end it, man, because it seemed like there would have been, and I know it was about 7 years, man, and it seemed like it would have been no compromise with these holidays. She said, I'll do the holidays. You know, I'll do everything, but I got to go see my parents on these holidays. She just had to go see it. So I just want to tell that brother, man, listen to Sock, man, because I can't help you, brother.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you feel mad at the word?
Meeting,
Come on now, look, come on now. Now, you done decide to sit on my couch now. You done decided to sit on my couch. I don't leave things unturned on my couch. Come on now, tell the truth, shame the devil.
I'm talking to a priest in a you know.
Come on, Cletus.
Sometimes it
That I want. Come on, I've been wanting. I wouldn't want to get it all out of there.
I ain't mad at y'all.
Yeah, no. You got a little indignation about it. I mean, because the word, you know, if it wasn't for this word,
we would have been married, man.
I would have been married. That ain't how you said it. You said married. I would have been married. That's what you think. But see, here's the problem. That's what you think. Just like I realized that Yahweh saved me from something, hearing one statement. God didn't give me this gift of hair for me to cover it. I would have had nothing but problems out of that woman. Mm-hmm. I would have had nothing but problem. When she make her money by doing hair, the last thing she want to do is cover her. She's using her hair as an advertisement for other people to get their hair done. I would have had nothing but problems. Now, was Yahweh gonna give me a pass? Well, look, Sock, I know you. Yeah, man, look. She is pretty good with the curling out. I'm just saying. I'm saying, man, that's the way she did that inverted bob. Damn, boy, you get salvation on that alone.
Yahweh
I don't think so.
Yahweh
I don't think so.
Give you a pause.
Exactly.
He'll do you exactly like he did Moshe.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there come a point where he be like, you gonna die if you don't take care of this bitch. And Yahweh might have did you the same way. You be on your way to Thanksgiving. And the car break down on Route 66. And I ain't just standing in front of the car. You don't take care of this business, you gonna die right here on Route 66.
And there it is.
So you end up setting yourself up for a problem that is going to be even more difficult to deal with, because feelings are getting involved the longer this thing draws out, okay? It's getting worse and worse and worse. So you have to begin and start somewhere. And you know, as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. You have to understand that it has to be a little by little situation. But the more entities you have in a situation, you have to look at every like a man and a woman. That's a house with two windows. All right. So that means there's two openings that the adversary of the devil can come through. All right. So now she got two kids, and then her mama and them, and then, you know, her nephew, he come by a lot. You know what I'm saying? He don't live there, but he stay there a lot. Okay, now wait a minute. Now we adding you to the mix now. Now you see how the number of windows just grew? Now, can you watch all those windows to see where Satan is going to come in at? Now see, you guard your window. See, you got your window. But see, now you got these other windows. Every entity you got in your house is another window. And the adversary don't care how you get in there. You know, why kick down? See, you are the reinforced metal door. Now, I'm thinking like criminal. All right, just criminal thought, criminal minded. All right, so you know what I'm saying. I take my criminal mind. I say, and I look at the doors. I say, oh man, there's 5 doors in here. One of them is metal reinforced. Got them bolts. They put extra wood on the side. You know what I'm saying? That's a man door, right? Now, it's gonna take me a year and a half to kick through that door. But you know, I walk around the back. He got that straw one, that little screen door. Now, if I'm a criminal, do I spend all my time hurt my whole left side trying to kick this man, boo, and I'm making noise every time boo, I mean, I'm just a kick, boo, I'm kicking and I'm a kicking and I'm a kicking. I don't even walk the same no more because all the kicking that I had to do to come through this door. And he got a screen door that don't even have the little latch, you know the little latch that go, you know that little latch, he ain't even got that latch on it. And you don't need the latch anyway, because you just walk right through the screen. Even the dumbest of criminals know, walk through the screen though. So, as you have these other entities, these other children, these other people, do not think that the adversary of the devil will not come through a child.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, most of them are entertaining the devil already. Okay? They very easy targets. The devil will ride your kid and sit right. The devil will ride your kid and have 2 grown-ups arguing, and the kid the one who brought the demon in the house.
He will definitely go for the weakest link.
Weakest link. And bottom line, that's going to be the children. And use the children to cause an argument between the parents. So you have to, it is a very uncomfortable situation, but there has to be a plan as to how this is going to be done. That plan has to be talked about. All right, we're going to give a certain amount of time, but we're going to be moving forward with this plan. And this plan can't be based on feelings. You know, so I'm going to see how you feel around certain time. Well, I can tell you she ain't never going to feel it. If you waiting on that, and then because she got to look at her mama and she got to look at the kids, this the year we stopped doing Christmas. How you feel about it? All right, baby. Well, no, this ain't the time. 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 So I know when the time is, and I know when she go, you know, when I heard, I knew that this wasn't it. This wasn't it. I'm sorry, baby, but one more year of Christmas. She been saying that for 10 years. One more year of Christmas. One more year.
And part of the problem is with that is the fact that she's living with the mother, and so this is automatically going to enter her life each and every year, each and every house. That is definitely
because you got to think about what the word says. It says a man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his wife. So if he's cleaving to her, there's a problem. There's certain things like, you know, I had to work on a car. I had to put some the weather stripping in there. It tells you, all right, to put this weather stripping down, we got adhesive, and it's gonna stick that down. But before I can put that adhesive down, they say you gotta clean the surface. So what do you mean clean the surface? You gotta get rid of what was already there. Because what was already there is gonna cause problem with your adhesion. Okay, so you're trying to cleave to her, and the mama was like, girl, I wouldn't do that if I was you. I don't know what. He wants you to do what? No, ain't no woman supposed to be doing that for no man. Ain't no,
It's a problem.
You gonna go in there and get his plate? He know where the kitchen at. He know where the kitchen at. That kitchen been there for 5 years.
That's a problem.
He know where the kitchen at. Oh, all of a sudden he don't know where the butter is. You got to put butter on there? You going to put butter on there? Can't believe this. I'm just going to start calling you hot butter. There you going to put it. So now your mama That's right. I said your mama. Your mama is in there. See, your mother. You remember that song? Your mama. That's right. I said your mama. Y'all need to look that up. That's a real song. That's a real song. Your mama. That's the song. That's right. I said your mama. So your mama is in the ear. And that is called, and I'm not saying this is what is happening.
Right.
I'm saying this has the potential of happening. All right. And just by looking at all of the other entities, when a situation starts, the less variables you have in that situation, the better off for stability's sake. You know, it's like even when people get married, they don't get married and normally have 4 kids the same day. You know what I'm saying? It's gradual to get 1 kid.
Right.
And then they get another. And see, you learn because you think your limitations are what they are. All right? As you have kids, you realize, wow, I have access to more things. Like it just show up. Like you have love. And this is something that people don't really consider. You have a husband, a wife, and a child. And you have absolute total love for everybody in that house. Then another child is born. You realize that you just got access to more love? You realize that you didn't have to take love from the mama or the other kid to have love for the new kid. This is what happened when we have those limited amounts of thinking. Well, no, that person got more things going on than they had to take love from somewhere to give love somewhere else. That's you limited love people. I ain't never had to hate one kid to love the other one. You know what? Your mama just gave birth to another kid. And, I've been looking at all the kids. I was trying to, and it boiled down to you. I need you to give me some of your love back. I don't really, let's be honest. We were never really feeling each other, honestly. I think it was more like your uncle. You know what I'm saying? Nobody has this conversation, all right? It does not exist.
No.
Okay? You do not need to take love. Love then grows. You then get access to the love that you already have in you. But if you have somehow, limited that, then you are causing that issue, okay? So we have to deal with that, that there's a thing there. I want to go to something else. Let me make sure we got all of this. In verse 14, it says, "Be you not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion has light with darkness?" So if those things are not alike, merging them together is going to be an issue.
It is.
Okay? So, and when you're dealing with young children, what adds, extra seasoning to the situation is that you have young children and then another entity who has the potential to affect the children. See, sometimes when children come into it, they find themselves in a situation. You are leading this situation. The children look around and they say, all right, well, I guess it's the way of the house. But when you got your mama,
Yeah.
and she starts telling now the kids like, wait a minute now. We got a whole new thing here because look like grandmama ain't going for this. See, at first I thought this was how it was gonna go down. But then G-Mon came in. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it stand G was for grand, but it stand for gangster. Gangster Mom came in here and she laying it down. G-Mon said, we ain't doing that. Christmas for life, homeboy. So now you got all our war going on in the living room.
And that's what it'll be.
A
war.
And and so you gotta talk this thing out. You gotta plan this. You got to have, when a company takes over another company, they don't share this with us. If you're high enough up in the food chain, they'll let you see one of those pieces of paper. And you find out, well, what is this? This is a plan of merger. What the hell is that? How long it's going to take for us to merge these two companies into one? Mm-hmm. Okay? So you're a company, she's a company. There's a merger acquisition. You have acquired another company. You have to then merge those two companies into one. Well, this is a gradual thing. They don't just go in and merge everything and all of a sudden you getting paid from the other company, next Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Then they spelled your name wrong because they ain't learned everything yet. They paid you the wrong rate. You know what I'm saying? You like, no, I get paid. This is not my pay. They cheated me and then they spelled my name wrong. So now you already got a smaller check. Then you check the smaller check to the bank. They said, this ain't you. No, what had happened was I told them I spelled my name with an E and then they put an I because they say it's basically the same name. That's how they say E, they say I. Now you're not getting paid. What happened? The merge went too quick. And see, this is what happened, especially when somebody sees somebody and they automatically want to marry them. They try to merge too quickly. And the companies don't get the right time.
Right, though.
They don't get the right time to get all of their business in order before they're having to merge and operate as one company.
Exactly.
We got two companies. Understand something? They got two sets of trucks. They got one truck that has one company name on it. The other truck has another company name on it. Mm-hmm. All right? So just imagine these trucks. One truck got your name on it, one truck got her name on it. But for them to merge and to be a unified company, they have to have one name on it. Okay? So, you got to have one set of tools. You have to have one way of operating. That takes time.
It does.
Okay? And you have to give that the time that it takes to learn to merge. And the best way to deal with that merger is to have those acquisition meetings before the deal is done. Our problem is we make the deal. We wake up in the morning, all right, we done merged. Woo! All right.
Yeah, and then hope everything will work out.
I sure hope we can work out.
I hope, yeah. I hope.
I sure hope this deal go through. Wait a minute, now we done already merged. We merged last night. Matter of fact, we had a merging ceremony. What you mean you hope this gonna work out? Well, there's some things I didn't mention. What? What you talking about? See, this is why you get to know somebody. Those things are automatically coming out. All right?
Yeah.
So it's not a situation. You have to understand, in Yahweh, nothing is impossible. Exactly. Yahweh can take the thing that everybody says won't work, and it will work wonderfully for you. All right? So you can't listen to everybody's thought process because all of our thought processes, including mine, is based on the things that we have encountered. So people who've encountered nothing but bad situations, when you mention something to them, all they have is bad. You gonna do what? Oh my God, you gonna die tomorrow. You gonna die. You gonna just go out there, man, the acid rain gonna eat your face. So if that's, now you have been talked out of a wonderful opportunity for you, because this is all that individual knows. Then you go and talk to somebody else and they like, oh man, I have two separate stories. One worked horrible, one worked wonderfully and still is working wonderfully. Do you have time to hear both of those stories? Yes, I do. Okay. Now, but that's still based on that person's situation, the things that has happened to them in their life. And a lot of people's lives are limited to certain things based on their choices. They made those choices, but they will then give you a counsel based on their choices or lack thereof. So you're not getting a full view because they don't have a full view.
Exactly.
How can they give you something they don't have? It's impossible. So understand, even with all advice, understand that all things are possible with Yahweh. But you got to clock in. You got to clock in. You can't ask Yahweh to do all these things for you. What you going to do? I mean, I'm just going to sit here, I'm going to watch the game and eat Cheetos. That might not work out for you. All right? You're going to ask him to go to work. And with every door and window you got, there's possibilities. You're going to ask him to watch 5 windows, but you're not going to do nothing? No, he's there to help you. He ain't your servant. He ain't there to work for you. He there to help you. All right, look. I got these 4 for now. You watch that one. Time go on, I'm going to add another door and window for you to watch. All right. Now I got these 3. Watch them 2. All right, okay. All right, didn't too much get through that. All right, now I'm gonna add half this window here. You watch them 2, and you watch the top part, because this is a double hung window right here. This one open from the top and the bottom. Just watch the top part of the window. I got the bottom. And then eventually, he has trained you to the point where he can step away. And there's a point where he step away, and you handling it, and you don't even know you're handling it. Something happened, you like, Yahweh, I called out for you, but I ain't here. You left me. Boy, I've been gone 2 years. Boy, I've been gone 2 years. I was waiting for you to notice, you know what I'm saying? But if I announced it, you would have panicked. You would have panicked. You want me to watch all these wonders by myself? You know what I'm saying? That's why I didn't tell you I was leaving. He knows what he's doing, all right? He knows what he's doing. You have to let him do what he does. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. Now this goes to one of the questions that we ended up, goes along with one of the questions that we were dealing with earlier. Deuteronomy chapter 7, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Verse 1. When Yahweh thy Elohim shall bring you into the land whither you goest to possess it, and has cast out many nations before you, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when Yahweh your Elohim shall deliver them before you, you shall smite them and utterly destroy them. You shall not make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them.
Okay, so when we read the thing concerning, if a man saw a captive wife and wanted to marry her, this was the answer to the question that Sister Takaya answered. Where must those people be? Look at what he said. When Yahweh your Elohim shall bring you, verse 1, into the land whether you go as to possess it, and cast out many nations before you. The Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when Yahweh your Elohim shall deliver them before you, you shall smite them and utterly destroy them. It ain't even supposed to be no woman left among them. Not in that span where you at. Those are supposed to already be destroyed. So then I ask a question. How you marry that's dead? How you marry her? How's she still living? Yo, I found this beautiful woman. Was it beautiful amongst the ones that you were supposed to be killing? Yeah, but when I saw Yahweh, I couldn't do it. She was so beautiful. Right. And in a while, she gonna kill you. Mm-hmm. When Yahweh said, when I said go in there and take care of everything that breathes, you didn't understand. I wasn't telling you to be cruel. If you leave one of them living, it is going to kill you. Now, that same thing wasn't given to all other war. Where he said, everything. You didn't have to go in there and kill everything. There's certain situations that kill everything. When he said kill everything that breathe, kill the cattle, kill the goats, kill the sheep. He said the evil of these people is even in their goods. You find some clothing, set it on fire. But here go us. I burnt most of the clothes. But Yahweh, there was this one bell-bottom ensemble. It was a jumpsuit, you know what I'm saying? It had the zipper go right up the middle. Yahweh, I had to have it. Right, and it's gonna have you. Go ahead.
Neither shall you make marriages with them.
Uh-huh.
Your daughter you shall not give unto his son, nor his daughter shall you take unto your son.
Uh-huh. So, but listen, read the next verse.
For they will turn away your son from following me.
Wait a minute. They will turn away your son from following me. So then you got to consider in a situation where you have multiple entities. Okay? Now you have people fighting for son and grandson and granddaughter, and people are trying to figure out who they're going to get to follow the other one. Because don't think that your mama won't fight you for your kids. Don't get it twisted. It happens all the time. Sometimes you have to remind your mama, Mama, how you doing? I don't know. Mama, maybe this is our first day meeting again. Mama, I'm your kid, all right? You know what I'm saying? You my mama. But you see that right there? That's my kid, all right? All right? I don't know if you noticed, but that's mine, all right? So I'm going to need you, you know what I'm saying? You deal with your kid, and I'm going to deal with mine, all right? And if we're going to keep a good relationship, you got to remember that that's my kid. That's not your kid. When you merge all of that into the same space, you're creating the possibility for some things. And the longer it takes for you to recognize that, the further behind the 8 ball you are. You need to know going in that you may give some instructions. Do this. And then somebody creep upstairs. Come here, let me talk to you. Now, back in my day.
Exactly.
Now, you didn't see this happen. But then the kid you end up seeing something from the kid. You be like, this little disobedient little knuckle. It wasn't him. It wasn't her. It was that other one. That put that, understand, because kids can be manipulated to fight a war. This is what happens all the time. What happened in the hood? They go get the kids to be the drug runners. What happens over in Africa? You got 11-year-old boys carrying AK-47s. They drug them up. They teach them all of these things. By the time this dude's 15, he done killed 25 people. He is absolutely cold and heartless at this point. Ain't no reaching him. So the older ones manipulated these little kids into waging this war. Okay? So you have to consider that. When somebody wants to truly move forward in their relationship, whenever you have, an entity still in the same house, it will cause some issues. Even back in the days, our people did things like we had land, right? We got 30 acres. The next one just go down the street and start, build a house. They're still in the general vicinity, but they're not directly in the same house. Because when you're directly in the same house, you hear arguments that you shouldn't hear. And now people offer their input. So here it is, the man's, baby, this shirt is revealing, your cleavage. It is revealing a part that belongs to me. Now the mama may sit there, she don't jump in right away. Then later on, look here. Let me tell you something. Now, back in my day, how a woman got a man is she shook a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now, let me ask you a question. When you met him, did you shake a little bit? All right, then that means he saw it coming in. He saw it wasn't no problem then. He saw both your twins, Chi and Chi. He saw Chi. He didn't have no problem with Chi and Chi. Now all of a sudden he up in here and he want to tell you hi Chi and Chi. Hi Chi and her sister Chi. They both got the same name, Chi and Chi. All right. So now he won't tell you to hi Chi.
Wear long skirt. You ain't gotta wear the long skirt.
You wasn't. Now you won't be the little house on the prairie. Now he moving now. See, hey, the devil good. The devil good now. The devil is good, dude. Don't you underestimate him. Don't you underestimate him. He is a powerful, he is a worthy adversary. When they say he's a worthy adversary, you got to understand what that means. That means you got to practice for this fight. You got to practice, and how he wars against us is on the family level. Because before we can become a nation, before we can become a kingdom of priests, a holy nation, we have to first become a family. So instead of fighting us as a nation, he fights us as a family so that he can already infect the nation through the infections that he has put in the family. You got to know that. We cannot be ignorant of his devices. We have to learn how he wars so that we can recognize the things that are being presented to us. Now, we got some other things, but I can't go into them because I cannot go into them in depth. Y'all know I don't like to give, one-line answers when it comes, because I don't want anybody to turn around, what Esaac said. No. We finna go and we finna read 2 or 3 things because, you read one thing and people automatically say, well, that's just his interpretation. You know what I'm saying? What he doing is, he doing that. That ain't nothing but that eisegesis. he done eiseged that thing. You know what I'm saying? Exegesis, eisegesis. Look, we read enough things, then I'm going to exegete all your eisegete, and we're going to get on into this book here, because you're going to have to throw down 4 or 5 principles to try and say otherwise. See, you have to convince people that this is not just the way that you see it, but the way that your Elohim sees it. So then that's why certain things are going to take more than just, hey, this is how you do this. No, let's get into the book and read and see why this is the way that you do it. Because when you know why something is done, it gives you a whole better foundation. It's like, when I was a kid, I asked those questions, why do we have eggs and chocolate on Easter? And I didn't know, my mom, bless her poor heart, she was just doing what her mama did and her mama before her. And she didn't have an answer for me. She didn't have an answer because she didn't have an answer for herself. She was following tradition. She didn't mean any harm. She didn't mean anything bad. She was following tradition. This is why those very things, I didn't got that answer. I asked that question as a kid. I didn't get the answer to that question until I was an adult. Now, let me tell you how funny Yahweh is. I asked this question as a kid. When I say I got the question as an adult, I got the answer after I got baptized. Now, check this out. Nobody told me the answer, though. Let me tell you how absolutely scary Yahweh is. I asked the question 20 years ago. I'm sitting there, and a complete and utter understanding of one question that I asked 20 years ago pops in my head. Bop, 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 bop. Every level of it. And it just enters my head. I then am talking out in the back alley with a guy. And I start to run down this thing. And the guy looked at me and said, you need to go talk to Elder Yaakov. And I said, why? He said, I've been going here for many years. I ain't never heard nobody say that. I said, well, I guess I'll talk to him. So I had a conversation with him. And it was the whole breakdown of Easter and all of that. The very question that I had 20 years ago, I didn't get it from my elder. I told the answer to my elder. And it was a strange conversation. I learned later what he was doing. He just got quiet. And he looked at me. And the other guys in the room who pushed me talked to him. They looked, and at that point, Elder's like, oh yeah, I'm using him. I didn't know what was going on. That's why the guy said, bruh, we got deacons, we got elders, we got all these people in here. Ain't nobody ever said to me, what just came out of your mouth? I need for you to go talk to the elder. But there was 20 years difference into that. So let me tell you the scary part about Yahweh. He will answer a question that you asked 20 years ago, but he won't repeat the question. And I hate it if it's multiple choice. 20 years later, Yahweh just say, see. See what? You think you're going crazy. You asked the question 20 years ago. He said, well, you gave me 3 choices. You said A is this, you said B is this, and you said C is that. I answered it. I said C. Yeah, but it's been 20 years, Yahweh. Shouldn't you repeat the question? No, you asked the question. Why I need to repeat your question? Didn't you ask it? Well, shut up then, see. He hard, but he fair. He hard, but he fair. So, that's all that we're going to do for tonight. Let's leave out with a prayer, please. We're going to rise and face the east. And if I didn't get to your question, you as well. We'll get to it next week, y'all. All right, all males, remove your head covering, and females always pray with their head covered. Abba Father, Most High Covenant Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Abba Father, we thank you for allowing us to borrow of your spirit on this day. Abba Father, we know that we are not worthy to borrow of your spirit, but we thank you for allowing us this wonderful opportunity to use the spirit for what it is for us to grow in the understanding of your word and to help others grow, Abba Father. We pray that you would continually use us to seek out your lost and your found sheep, because even the found sheep need refresher courses. Even the found sheep need to be directed. We need to have some accuracy with our walk, that we may be able to increase in our walk. So these things are not just for the lost sheep, Abba Father. Please allow us to continually grow as we read out of this legacy. Sometimes we'll read some things, and each time it grows and gets more understanding, no matter how many times we may read the exact same things. This is how wonderful you are, Abba Father, that you would cause us to grow in something that we think we already grown in. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We pray that you would keep a hedge of protection round about us, round about our natural homes and our spiritual homes, our spiritual house, that we may be able to gather together once again and do this all over again. In Yahshua HaMashiach's holy and divine name we pray. Amen and hallelujah.